You're helping get the word out. Everybody who puts me on a micro AM, a micro FM, everybody who streams the show, past and beyond. You know, I have the on-demand link. Anybody who posts it over at Live Leak, over at YouTube, you're helping out. You know, you're sending these little clips to your friends, these, 9-minute segments or whatnot on YouTube. They're huge news blitzes. What I talk about, unfortunately, in a 9-minute segment is more than the mainstream media will talk about in relevant issues all day. And that's sad. I mean, take a look at me, folks. I'm in an Affliction polo shirt with a bad haircut. And I'm the guy that's telling, with bad teeth, yes, you're right, with bad teeth on top of it. And I'm the guy that has to sit here and do the hardcore news every night. You know, not even really as a newsman, but as a commentator and really an activist journalist, because I do try to do my own legwork. I do try to get my own interviews. I do try to get people on film. I'm looking to get a lot of interviews right now for this Invisible Empire film. I got a few lined up next week. At the same time, I'm never too good to do somebody else's radio show or talk show or TV show. I mean, I did, 15 hours of radio with my shows, Alex's show, and other shows on Thursday and Friday alone. I'm getting up tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning so I can do somebody else's radio show, so I can come in here and work on the Alex Jones show and then do my show later in the evening. And it sucks that, I pick up 10 articles after going through some news, and my news is more relevant than the mainstream media because they aren't telling you what's going on. They're fluffing it up. It's all about Britney Spears and John and Kate +8. Is she sleeping with the bodyguard? Who gives a damn? I don't. But the American public does. They really care. Oh, look at that frosty color in her hair. She's so beautiful. It's truly an Entertainment Tonight lifestyle in the United States today. I'm the Infowarrior. We'll be back after this. All right, we're going to go to your calls in just a moment. The link, Rick, Cytor, and more, 866-582-9933. But I want to play this clip of Colonel Peters saying, hey, you know what, let's just kill everybody at Guantanamo. That's a good way to end it. Hit it.
Hey, Neil, I got to tell you where I'm coming from. I come from Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, the anthracite coalfields. We don't screw around with terrorists.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So you're proposing or would have done what?
Well, first of all, I am not worried about the human or legal rights of terrorists because as far as I'm concerned, when a human being chooses to commit an act of terror against innocent human beings, he puts himself outside of humanity. And this obsession with the supposed legal and human rights of terrorists, a small number, condemns billions of human beings, billions, to live in fear. And again, Neil, once you commit an act of terror, in my book, you are outside, you're anathema, and you should be killed. Now, I'm not talking about killing every living thing in the barnyard.
Oh,
and
thank
why
you.
set ourselves up for these legal problems? Now, Neil, I know it's not politically correct. I don't care.
Really?
I care about the security and well-being of my fellow Americans. I care about the human rights of innocent people around the world.
Oh.
And as far as I'm concerned, terrorists should die. And a good thing that's happening right now is since you've had this whole movement to close Guantanamo, et cetera, the word I'm getting from the field is our special operators and our soldiers and Marines on the front lines are taking fewer prisoners.
All right, so in other words, they're killing them.
Yeah, we're dealing with people who aren't human anymore. They are monsters. And just like in the movies, monsters deserve to die. And
well, I see your point, Colonel. No, and I see your point about what we agonize over. But what if all the 200 or so Gitmo detainees are not monsters? Some were just caught up in a roundup where they weren't doing anything wrong. Now, I don't know the details on who's who and how many might fill that equation here, but you know what I mean? That then you would be wiping them all out.
Well, there will be miscarriages of justice in a brutal war like this, but I don't think too many. We're pretty good about figuring out who's right and who's wrong. Now, if the terrorists use some human beings, set them up, or use them as human shields, there's not a lot we can do about it. And again, we're not talking about using nuclear weapons on Shaw or on training camps.
All right, let's just stop because the guy's talking over it. We got to get the fresh clip on that one. But yeah, let's just kill all terrorists. Let's have trials for, first of all, when was the last terrorist attack in this country? 9/11. Who actually carried it out? Oh, it was the military-industrial complex. It was the shadow government. It was the International Intelligence Organization. It ultimately was the invisible empire that we're going to be exposing in my next film. Okay? So personally, even those people, to me, deserve a trial because I want to know who helped them, how they were able to achieve it, and then we decide what their punishment is. And quite frankly, I don't think it should be death. I think death is too good for somebody that would kill 3,000 people in order to kill millions more and thousands of U.S. servicemen. That's right. I think death is too good for them. I'd like to see them serve the rest of their lives in a prison term in Gen Pop, you know, with them being tracked, traced, and database with everything they do on a 24-hour news network where I can, again, tune in and see Dick Cheney crying on the toilet at 3 a.m. What have I done? And I say Dick Cheney because Dick Cheney was so obviously intimately involved in some way on 9/11. He's the first person that I would indict and then flesh out the investigation from. This guy's a monster. And for some reason, he's the public figure right now after Bush leaves. Probably because he did set a lot more policy than George Bush did. Obviously, George Bush was nothing more than a puppet that read off a script. Much like, you know, Obama is, only Obama does it 1,000 times better. And Bush was really put in that position through his bloodlines, through his family, you know. They didn't want him initially. They would have rather put Neil Bush out there, but he got caught in that big savings and loan scandal, and I think it was the late 80s, early 90s. And don't forget Jeb Bush, who may come back to haunt us. I mean, he was the governor of Florida while the attacks are happening. Of course, Bush is down in Florida magically. He actually declared martial law in Florida on, I think it was September 7th, only 4 days before the attacks. Martial law was in effect as the attacks happened, just magically. And Jeb Bush, if you ever watched the documentary Journeys with George, which is a rather sympathetic portrayal of not only George Bush, but his brother Jeb and the entire family and the political process, he literally says, one way or another, we're going to deliver Florida. Oh, and they delivered it after much controversy. Would Al Gore have been any better? No, we would have seen a softer fascism. We probably would have still seen the terror attacks, the war in the Middle East, but we would have seen a lot more carbon credit push. And we're seeing that now that we have Barack Obama in. They love to play sides off against each other for different parts of the agenda. We'll be back after this. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas, prisonplanet.tv, Infowars.com.